If you're feeling stuck in life, really drained, or like you're just struggling, these are 5 signs you might actually be held back by an unworthiness belief. Now, this might be one of the most underrated videos I've ever made, so I'm bringing it back from the archives of videos because in 2021 I made this video because I was seeing the same things with friends, acquaintances, and in myself, honestly. We say we want success, we say we want good relationships, we say we want to be confident, but underneath the surface you're battling a deep sense of unworthiness, not enoughness, and feelings of shame. So these 3 signs of feeling unworthy have become the norm, even though they're actually rooted in some sense of not feeling truly confident in your sense of self-worth. For example, some of these things show up like overgiving, perfectionism, or always striving for the next achievement. If you're tired of feeling on that treadmill of constantly striving and never arriving, this might be the video you need to achieve the next level of awareness for the wound that needs to be healed within yourself.
Hey guys, welcome to Making Mindfulness Fun. My name is Gabby Robledo, and today I'm going to be talking about the 3 signs that you don't feel worthy, and that if you experience any one of these 3 signs, it might be time for you to start healing your sense of divine self-worth. What are the 3 signs that you experience that you don't feel worthy? Well, first I want to share with you guys that I didn't always feel this sense of what I call divine self-worth. Divine self-worth is when we feel a completely whole and radiating sense of self-worth instead of constantly feeling like I'm not worthy. It makes sense, right? But I say divine because it's coming from a state of your highest self, and it's coming from a place of intrinsic self-worth. It's coming from within, not from dependent on the external world. And that's what these 3 signs are going to be dependent on. The external world. If you get your self-worth from the external world, that's going to be a sign that you don't have divine self-worth. And my experience from going from this place of into divine self-worth was not, I didn't always feel like this. I didn't always feel that sense of divine self-worth. In fact, it took me 6 years to discover that. And what happened is that actually me and my family of 7 moved into an RV when I was only 14 years old. You can read the whole story over on nomadswithpurpose.com. But in that process, I was homeschooled, and we moved into an RV and we totally ditched conformity, right? And in that process, not only was it like cool that I got to travel and see the world, but it was also a very interesting process because I was 14 at the time, and 14 is really, we're starting freshman year of high school. That's really the time a lot of us develop our sense of self-worth. The problem is the way that we do it in modern society doesn't develop divine self-worth. It develops an unhealthy sense of self-worth because it comes from the external world. Because when we're 14, we're put into a school setting typically, and we're taught from, virtue signaling and just subconscious programming that you're supposed to do what makes you liked by others. And there's an extent of that that's important. There's a small extent of that because you do need to be socially acceptable to an extent, right? But oftentimes it ends up killing our spirit, but our spirit is actually associated with our self-worth. It makes us believe when we're in that setting that we need to change ourselves to fit in, and therefore who I really am must not be enough. It must not be worthy. And so that statement, you are not enough, is highly associated with sense of self-worth. So in that process, while most people are going through that process of, going to a school system and I need to change myself to fit in, I was living in an RV and traveling the world with my family of 7, and I had an extremely unconventional childhood and teen years, and it gave me the space in my life to cultivate a sense of mindfulness. And in that process, I would go between traveling and then I'd go home for a little and see my friends, and I could see between the 2 worlds of like, it's really weird because I don't feel totally in this nomad travel because I still felt that pull of I need to change myself to fit in for my friends, and yet I would also see my friends accelerating that rate of what I was already feeling, and they were changing themselves even faster, and I could see from a third person point of view being in that situation, wow, people are really losing their sense of worthiness, their sense of being enough for the world. They think that they're not enough and they need to change themselves. And so that in that process, I started then doing the work, and in over 6 years of mindfulness and self-reflection and shadow work and becoming aware of my subconscious programmings, I've learned to cultivate a sense of divine self-worth, and it takes work to maintain, but it allows me to feel like I am enough, whether people like it, whether or not I am rejected occasionally or get judgment occasionally. And we think that Part of the reason that we don't feel worthy is because we think that we're constantly going to be rejected and judged. But the truth is, when you are going to be occasionally rejected and judged throughout your life, but when you have divine self-worth, those things don't faze you because you're still enough.
Hey, quick pause in this video. So I have been making videos for years now, but this is technically a brand new channel. My sister Isabel and I used to run a joint channel with our mom, and when she pivoted into a astrology content specific channel, I branched off to focus on mindset and personal growth and empowering you. So here at Be the Hero Academy, me and my mom are on a mission to hit 10,000 subscribers in 90 days and rebuild our amazing community. So if you are vibing with our videos, if this content resonates, drop a like, hit subscribe, and help us grow this channel from the ground up. We really, really appreciate your support. Okay, back to the video.
So let's dive into the 3 signs that you don't feel like you are worthy. And the first sign is you care too much about your appearance. And now again, it's okay to care about to love how you dress and want to look great for a night out. But if you care obsessively about your physical appearance, then that's a sign that you're that you are dependent on the external validation and acceptance that you're going to get for your appearance. You have to remember that worthiness means that you believe that you are enough from the inside, that your soul is enough from the world, and that you don't believe that your shell is the epitome of who you are. This physical body is not everything about you. You're so much more than the physical shell. And if you care so much about how you look, it's usually a sign that you want to be highly accepted, whether it's verbally or non-verbally. People can just accept you and not judge you. That can be acceptance. Or you get validation where people compliment you on your appearance. Another sign would be, caring too much about your appearance is where you are self-conscious of your appearance. So you can have people who are very blatantly like, I love to dress up and want to make my makeup look perfect. But there's also people who don't do that and they're just highly self-conscious of themselves. They don't necessarily want to dress themselves up, but they are caring about their appearance because they're self-conscious. And that is a sign that you don't feel worthy from a sense, from the inside, from your soul's purpose, not from your external physical shell. And so the second one is you check your phone obsessively. And I just watched an amazing video, and I'll actually link that video in the description below, but it was a whole interview on someone who talked about how we are addicted to our phones, right? And we all know we're addicted to our phones, but do we really know why? Well, yes, there's a dopamine part, but there's a part of it that is because we don't feel worthy as we are by ourselves, and so we seek to find our worthiness in the external world, right? And so our phones create that constantly for us, and we become addicted to it because we don't have to create the self-worth from the inside because our phones can do it for us. If you get a text message, or the amount of likes you get on social media, or followers, or DMs in your social media accounts, and all the people that you're talking to online on different platforms, those are all ways that you can gather your sense of self-worth. And look, there's nothing bad about having a social life and having true connections with people. Unfortunately, social media doesn't usually do that, especially when we're young. But that is a sign that you're trying to find your self-worth from the external world, and you're enabling it to. Now, social media and our phones are designed to do that, but we have to have resistance. That's not the right way for us to cultivate true power and passion, which comes from our divine self-worth. So number 3, the third sign that you don't feel worthy is that you can't handle criticism or judgment. And like I started this with, if you can't handle criticism or judgment, it's because you are dependent on external self-worth. You are gathering your self-worth from the external world. If you feel worthy enough just as you are, you know that their judgment and their criticism is a reflection of them. And sure, maybe they are judging your work a little bit, but that's not a reflection of you as an entire person. That's just one small aspect of it. Maybe they're trying to make you help you. Maybe they're dealing with their own programmings and their own feelings of self-worth, and they're reflecting that onto you. It doesn't matter. Criticism and judgment should not completely affect how worthy we feel. We should feel worthy from the inside, not dependent on one little thing that someone says to us that doesn't feel good. It's almost like wearing a bodyguard. When you have divine self-worth, it's like bodyguard that emanates from the inside, and it creates this force field around you. And little things that come at you, like criticism and judgment, just bounce right off. It may come in and you might process it for a second, but then it bounces right back off. So those are the 3 signs that you don't feel worthy. And now I have to be honest here, the key thing for me that has changed my life in feeling divine self-worth has nothing to do with mantras or journal prompts. It actually has to do with what I call flow state. But you don't have to have flow state, which is a state of consciousness when you're pursuing a sport. But you do have to have something that you do for the sake of doing. And flow state for me totally fulfills that. Flow state for me, I find it in climbing and surfing and mountain biking and snowboarding. But the key is to have something that you do for the sake of doing, where you have no expectation on the external result, on the external process, of the external self-worth that you're gonna get from it. You do it because you like doing it, and so you're aligned with oneself, not aligned with what do they think of me. Am I self-conscious right now? Am I gonna get social media likes for this? You're just doing it because you love doing it. That is truly the key to finding your divine self-worth. That is really, I can give you tons of journal prompts and mantras, but the key, the one thing that's going to totally revolutionize how worthy that you feel is having something that you do for the sake of doing.
Now, thanks for watching, guys. Now I want to know which one of these signs hits home for you. Comment below, that's me, if you felt seen in this video in any way or another. Know that you are not alone. You know, all of us in the world struggle with most of these 3 symptoms. Some people just don't admit to it and stay in their illusion for their whole life, constantly feeling like they're not enough. So if you can identify that, that is a huge win. I'm here with you. I've been there, and I'm here to help you transform that. So you might have heard me mention my program called Flow State Warriors in this video, and it's still a great program that I have, and it's technically still available. But if you're just starting out and you want a reset, the even better resource to get started that's totally free is my 5 scripts to eliminate unworthiness that I created. It's super helpful. It gives you the 5 mindset shifts you really have to focus on, and it's becoming a really powerful grounding point in my journey, and I created that into a single PDF for you that's totally free. You can check it out in the link in the description down below. Remember that if you like this video, be sure to hit the like button, and if you don't already, be sure to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this.